Normal is Normal, and it's also a city in Illinois.
No, but there's a show called Normal. I
believe it's the new Normal, but I'm talking about Normal, Illinois is the home of, is it Illinois State University, I believe? Funny story. I used to be, when I lived in Chicago for about 4 years, my brother-in-law, who wasn't brother-in-law yet, Doug, my sister lived
Dougie
there
Fresh,
too.
we call
Dougie
him.
Fresh.
Did he have a neighbor named Patty?
No, but he kind of looks like Rob Lowe.
It took me a second to get that reference, but I loved it.
Yeah, back to my story, because that's what we're talking about right now.
You know what the funny thing about funny stories is when people say a funny story, it's usually not that funny.
Hello, everyone. My name is John Edwards, and with me is not Zeke Baker because he's homesick, and together we make the Dad's Drinking Bourbon. Wherever you are, whatever time it is, thank you for making us a part of your day. And we have some very special guests today, our friends from Bring Dad a Beer, the podcast also in Middle Tennessee that is Dad's actually drinking beer rather than Dad's drinking bourbon. Our new friends, say hello to everyone, you two.
Hello, everyone, you two.
Get well soon, Zeke. We miss you, bud.
Introduce yourselves to the people.
I am the Chef Jeff.
Tell them what you do.
What we do.
Yeah, okay. Tell them what your podcast is about.
We're stay-at-home dads.
Yeah.
That is what we do. Our podcast is just kind of something also, I guess, that we do.
Our podcast is a hobby. Like you said, we're the men of the family. What do we do? That's such a great question.
Well, I feel
why are you hitting us with the hard questions already, man?
Well, I feel like there's going to be some crossover opportunities here. There's dads that drink bourbon. There's dads that drink beer. What are the things that you talk about on your podcast? Your guests, the guests you get, are a million times better than us. You guys had like a ex-Titan on your show. Didn't you?
We did. We've had a couple athletes. We've had some up and coming singer-songwriters on our show, but to answer your question, though, our podcast it's funny when people ask us what it's about because it's not one subject or one thing that we focus on. I would say the overarching thing is like it's just a couple of guys hanging out, and you're going to feel like you're hanging out with your bros, I guess, is when you listen to our show because we don't just talk about beer. We don't just talk about being dads, but we do mix that stuff in. We talk pop culture, things that are trending.
Sports.
A little bit of sports, you know. We run the gamut of like topics as far as what we're going to talk about on our show. And it's really whatever we want to talk about because it's our show. So we talk about what we're interested in.
What do you like to talk about most days?
Ooh.
Oh, man, that's a good
right
question.
now it would be our Nextdoor. The Nextdoor app. Do you have that on your phone?
Oh, my God. I used to. So right now, as you guys are at this wonderful apartment complex that I am temporarily living at, it's great. We have this room overlooking the pool. I feel like I'm at a resort. But I had Nextdoor when I lived in the Nations.
Okay.
The problem is you want to mute 99% of the stuff.
No, see, this is what we do. We have a segment called Next Up on Nextdoor, and we find the best post. Like, what was it? A couple weeks ago, we had the subject line, loose bull, nothing else.
Yeah, no details or anything whatsoever. It's like somewhere within a 5-mile radius of our house, there's a bull.
There's a bull running around.
Yeah.
And we're looking out our window going, where do we live?
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
Up in Nashville, is now that I live out in the burbs, but when we were up in Nashville, Nextdoor is just either somebody stole a package.
Always.
It was somebody suspicious in the neighborhood and then pick up your dog crap.
Always the dog crap. And the other thing is, someone told me this weekend. They were like, because I was talking about the Nextdoor app and how hilarious it is. They're like, okay, you have a $500 camera out in front of your house that you have recording everything, yet you forgot to lock your doors on your car. Like, the people usually just come right up to the door and like unlock the door, and then they're just, or not even unlock it, just open the door and steal all their stuff. But they have the video evidence though.
if someone
have that,
why isn't anybody stealing the cameras? I think that would be hilarious.
That's a great
Or why
idea.
isn't anybody taking like spray painting the cameras and then going and doing what they're supposed to
Then
do?
you'd have to bring a ladder, I guess. Yeah, they're kind of high
Depends.
up.
I mean, you have the
sometimes
doorbell
they're low.
cam, and then you have the floodlight cam. And if you have the floodlight cam, that's
Yeah.
one thing. But it never ceases to amaze me too. On July 4th,
Yeah.
everybody posts.
They're surprised about the fireworks.
Well, and it's
My dog is scared of the fireworks.
I know where this is going. Sorry. We like to cut each other off. Is that all right?
that's fine.
We do that a lot.
It's okay.
No, I know where you're going is be respectful of the veterans.
Well, that too.
Okay, sorry.
But which is good.
No, what I think he's trying to say is, no, go ahead. No, I'm sorry. Go
No, you should be respectful of the veterans
For sure.
100%. Saying it on Nextdoor. So I have no problem with people saying like respect our veterans and my dog is scared.
Yeah.
But nobody's friggin' reading your Nextdoor post while they're shooting off fireworks. Like, I just get amazed that people think like, hey, I'm going to be a keyboard warrior and write this right now. I like that. And those other people are out there shooting fireworks. Like, they're having a great time. They're not looking down like, oh, man. Like, I'm reading, hey, are you reading the Nextdoor app?
Bill, I just got a notification right here. We're supposed to be quiet tonight. We should probably cut this off, even though we got 4 more boxes of works over here we're going to shoot off.
Yeah, I agree, Jim. I mean, the Nextdoor app told us, I mean, there's some dogs that have anxiety, so we should probably tone it down.
I mean, I completely agree with those arguments, but the problem is, the people are not reading it.
No, not until the next day. And then the real fun starts.
I will tell you, like, my neighbors knew I had a toddler in the old neighborhood. They knew I had a toddler, and they shot off fireworks on July 4th, knowing that they were doing it right outside my daughter's window. So it's like people know there's stuff going on, and it's not going to stop them on July 4th. You know, it's like It's not like I could be like, "Hey, quiet hours in the neighborhood or such time." But like my daughter goes to bed at 8:30, so
We got into an altercation when I lived in Atlanta. Do you remember being there for July 4th?
Mama Bear came out.
Oh, my wife.
We were in the garage having a heater when we used to do that.
Yeah, we don't do that anymore. But yeah, they were shooting off fireworks and my daughter was sleeping. And it was like you said, I mean,
it was like 11. It was late.
Right next door. That's on my mind still. Right next to her window, though. And my wife, she didn't even ask me to do it. She just
stormed out that front
skipped
door.
The levels of authority in the neighborhood, I guess. Even though I'm not above her, but she was just came barreling down the driveway and she was like, cut it out right now. My daughter's sleeping. And they stopped immediately. She shut the neighborhood down. It was awesome.
the funny thing about that is my wife
Yes!
does not love it when
You too. 2 peas in a pod.
well, he already did it, so I had to do it. But my wife does not like to go out and be confrontational, but I also don't care because I'm 6'3" and 300 pounds.
No one's messing with you.
So I have no problem going out and having a conversation with people. She's like, you shouldn't go. You shouldn't go. What if they do something? I'm like, okay.
Yeah, like what?
And so they would have bonfires. We would have a lot of Airbnbs around us. So sometimes they would have bonfires until 3 or 4 in the morning, or when the Airbnbs were just being loud. And all of a sudden I'd go outside, and every time you go outside, the door goes beep, beep.
Yeah.
And I'd come back in. She's like, where'd you go? I'm like, I went over there and I asked them to be quiet because my wife and daughter are sleeping.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it in a bad way. I
No.
wasn't confrontational. I was just like, hey guys, just want to let you know.
Yeah.
We can hear you. Not sure if you know that, but she would be like, oh my God, don't go out there. What if they do something to you? And I'm like, well, if they do something to me, then I have insurance. I hope you all have a nice life. And I guess it was my time.
And you're going to be on the Nextdoor app the next day.
Yeah. If somebody is going to kill me over asking them to be quiet,
Yeah.
then I guess my time was up.
You know what I was just thinking? We're sponsoring them too much. They're not paying us. We should get Nextdoor to sponsor us. We talk about them almost every week. But it is built-in content, man. It's we go on there every day. There's something hilarious on there.
Wow.
So it's fun.
If I were to look at, and this is just the nations, this is my old neighborhood.
Yeah.
The first thing that's on there for Nextdoor is help. poison ivy. We are inundated with poison ivy. Has anyone gotten rid of it? And then the next one is a recommendation for painter. But
we got some gems coming out this week. We're gonna save them though. People have to come to our show and listen to it.
a lot
we
of
got a
missing
couple of them.
dogs.
Yeah,
Oh,
we have
so many dogs.
Yeah, the one that you're sharing this week is sort of related to dog poop.
Oh, the dog crap.
Yeah, but it's so much better than that, though. It's not just dog poop.
Oh, it is.
It's a great story.
It's 3 weeks old, and people are
yeah.
still commenting.
This is right up on your alley. One of our vehicles, boyfriend's work truck, was rifled through early this a.m., around 5:30 a.m., according to a neighbor who saw. Nothing was taken, fortunately, but unfortunately, this is the first time he has left his truck unlocked in years.
Of course he did.
You know, so
Didn't take nothing, huh? Y'all poor.
Wait, time out. How does she know that's the first time that he left his truck unlocked?
He lying.
Like he might, like maybe he.
Honey, I
left
swear it's the first time.
Right, yeah.
I have to tell
like
people,
it could
by
have
the
been
way,
the third time. You don't know. Like he just didn't get broken into the other times.
I don't want to cut you off. We're 14 minutes in.
Sorry.
And I would be
Bourbon.
very remiss. We don't even have to go deep into it.
Yeah.
Let's talk for a minute, though. We did a blind. Before we got on, we are going to go through this. As you guys know, when we do a blind tasting, we take notes before we come on. Then we have an envelope. A listener sent it to us. Used to be Whiskey Dog on Instagram. I believe he's now changed his Instagram to Denver Barkeep. So thank you so much for sending us this blind.
It's funny you said whiskey dog and then you said Denver bar keep because like the bark.
Oh.
Like whiskey dog and now it's Denver bark eep. No? Nothing on that? Okay, my bad.
No, you were stretching on that. That was a
Well, like you said that and I was just like, is it I thought you were going into Denver bark like maker or something like
Dad
that.
pun.
Like he's
No, that was a good dad joke.
thank you. That's
was-
I mean, that's the type of comedy you can expect on the show.
I want to tell you guys, I poured you something really good. Now, I poured you a beer before we got on here.
Right.
We'll talk about that in a second. But I poured you guys a very, very good whiskey. I know
Have not
we have been
tasted yet.
talking to each other for a while about how wanting to collaborate, and
Yeah.
really glad this happened tonight. So cheers.
Cheers.
And then I will tell you what this is. Jeff probably knows what this is. Coach probably does not.
I do not.
Once I tell you, and even once I tell you, Coach is not going to know what this means.
I won't even. I mean, there's hardly any bourbons that you could list that I would even know what they even are.
So I will tell you that this is a heavily allocated whiskey.
Okay.
It's a bourbon. It's heavily allocated. There is only a limited amount of these that are released every year.
It's really good.
It is a William LaRue Weller.
That's the Weller.
Not like Weller
The
12.
really good Weller.
Yep.
Oh, wow. That's good.
I wanted to make sure you guys had a drink of something really, really good.
I liked it.
Wow.
That was the,
Thank you.
Out of
I've
all
never
the
had it
things-
before, and I was just like, man, that's really good.
So sip on that
Deep.
while we're doing the show. It's thick. It's
Oh, was I not
it's a
supposed to
high
shoot
proof.
that like I just did?
Well, you didn't. You told me not to pour you a lot.
No, but that was the most of anything that I drank tonight, and it was good. Fun story. My dad used to work at an auto repair place called Weller's, and that's my contribution to this conversation.
Well, there was a man, William LaRue Weller,
Oh, okay.
and there's a whiskey named after him.
This is a hard bottle to get, man. I would have loved to have had this Weller before right now, but I could never get my hands on a bottle. My brother-in-law, Doug, we talked about him earlier, asked me.
He probably has a better shot.
No, he asked me to get him a bottle of the Weller, like at Red Dog's lottery, because the Pappy will go first, and then right after that, the next 4 people in line will grab the Weller.
It is one of those things where it's all about relationships. So you can either go the secondary route or it's the relationship route. And it's not just a store like, Red Dog. There's other stores in town that you might build relationships with. Because Red Dog is one of those ones that is the bourbon club. So they'll have their allocation. If you're not a member of the club, you can't sniff it. There are other stores where it's, what are you doing? Are you going in? Are you buying their store picks? Are you hanging around? Are you talking to them? Yeah. How much? It's not just about how much money you're spending in a store. It's, are you supporting them? Mm-hmm. Like, there are things, I will be very transparent with you guys, and this is all a rabbit hole you can go down, but your Buffalo Trace allocation might be tied to like how much Wheatley vodka you're selling, because that's all part of the Sazerac label. So there could be other things like how much 1792 are you selling? How much Wheatley vodka are you selling? So when you know there are things like that, you're going to a store and you're buying one of their store picks, throw a bottle of Wheatley vodka up there. It's $20. You're moving it for them. That's going to up their chances of getting a Buffalo Trace allocation. You do that all the time. Like, it's little things like that. You got to help these stores. Let them
I just
know
want to
what's
let
going
everyone
on.
know that I'm holding in all my dad jokes right now, and I haven't said any of them. So you're welcome.
What did you have?
Well, I had Weller. This was Weller than the one I had earlier.
That's a really
Is that even a more stretch? Is that more of a stretch than the earliers?
I tell a lot of dad jokes. That one was super bad.
Okay, how about this one then? I'm going to get you back with this one, okay? So you said Sazerac?
Yeah.
Sazerac? I just met her. Is that better? Did I get you back?
So I will let you know. Jeff, I'll let you know this one is a hundred.
He's done talking to me, by the way. He's
No.
like, you're cut off.
You stop it. You're drunk. It's 128.2 proof. It's 12 years old. So it doesn't drink like 128
No,
proof at all.
it does not taste boozy at all to me.
It's one of those ones where, so Coach, for you, and we were talking about how you don't like whiskey very much, or you don't drink a lot of whiskey,
Yeah.
or it's not that you don't like whiskey, it's you drink whiskey to get drunk. You've never
Yeah.
really had whiskey in a way to sip it. And it's a lot of honing in your palate. So do you like high proof, low proof? Do you like, and I want to sit down with you again. We won't have mics and I'll bring some
Yeah.
stuff over. I bet you like a wheated, because this one is a wheated mash bill. So
Okay.
what that means is typically in a regular, like that Four Roses right there, it's corn, rye, and barley. A wheater replaces rye as the secondary grain with wheat. You could also have a 4-grain whiskey. There are even some 5-grain whiskeys. But so instead of corn, rye, and barley, it is corn, wheat, barley.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit sweeter. Here's where you go down all the rabbit holes again, because
There's a lot of rabbit holes in this podcast.
absolutely. But if you
You need a BB gun, man. Get rid of these rabbits.
oh no, it's just whiskey is stupid. Number one, and there's so many different things that you can go down and talk about. But if you have celiac disease,
Yeah.
and you have a wheat allergy, a wheated whiskey is going to taste hotter to you than a rye whiskey would.
Oh.
So there's all these things where, bottom line, and the thing that I could tell you about whiskey, nobody's wrong, nobody's right.
Right.
Everybody's taste is different. Find what you
You just
like.
got to find it.
And if you like drinking whiskey and Coke, don't stop that.
I won't then.
Do exactly what you like doing. I mean, I bet you I could find a whiskey that you like neat.
Mm-hmm.
It could be that you like a rye or you like an American malt. There's so many different variations of whiskey. Maybe you're a Scotch guy. Maybe you're not.
Oh, no.
He's definitely not a Scotch guy.
No.
Well,
It
'cause
tastes
then
like
there's-
tape to me.
Well, that's the Isla Scotches. So if you have the Isla Scotch, it's more peaty. A Highland Scotch. So if you had like a Balvenie or you had a Macallan, that would probably be a little bit easier for you to drink.
I've
than
got
a
some Macallan at the
Lafroig
house.
or an Ardbeg. So it all goes down to maybe you like Irish whiskey, because Irish whiskey is going to be a little lower proof.
I like what you said though. Like, just do what you like though, because
Yeah.
I do feel like.
What if he threw some Coke in this Weller? Would
Don't
you
care.
You wouldn't care?
Well, here's the thing.
It's-
I feel like in the men community of just drinking in general, which we're all in that together, right? There's a lot of pressure to be
Yeah.
like, you have to like
Oh my God! Don't. Like, why would
this,
you do that?
have to like that, and it's like I don't like drinking straight any liquor. Like if I'm drinking vodka, I'd much rather have a vodka Sprite. I don't know.
I don't know anybody that wants to drink vodka straight.
Yeah, well,
I
Tito's
actually
Tito's
do.
is not bad. I don't mind Tito's. It's all great.
Well, we
Well,
tell
with a
people-
lime, you throw a lime in there.
Yeah.
I like it.
We tell people we drink neat because we're lazy.
Oh, okay.
So if you think about it, like making a cocktail takes too much effort. When the kids go to bed, we just want to sit there and pour it right in the glass and start sipping on it. When you start doing a whole thing of like, man, I got to get out bitters and I got to do this.
Yeah,
and it's like, It's a lot easier just to say, shoot, even getting ice can be difficult because then you got to make noise going in the ice maker and we're like, just pour it in the glass. I mean, for us, it is pure laziness. But if you like it with an ice cube, have it with an ice cube. If you like it with ginger beer, have it with ginger beer. It's as long as you are buying whiskey and keeping the industry moving, I don't give a shit. That's it.
Yeah. That's cool.
I do feel like people that drink it like you guys do are looked up to, I guess, more in the community. I don't know, because like people that
it's like more manly.
Yeah, totally.
Right? Like we can drink it straight. We don't need a chaser.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I feel like less of a man when I have to mix it or grab a chaser, but I'm not. I'm still a man.
No,
I'm still a man.
I look at you as
I'm
less,
a man.
less of a
I
man.
wear a speed stick.
I'm a man. I'm 40. You remember that one?
That's where that's from.
He said I wear a speed stick.
Yeah.
The same thing. No, he did.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
I don't remember that part. I do remember him saying, "I'm a man. I'm 40." Like
It was either that.
You come after me.
It was either that, and he said so, or it was a show that was parodying it that said he wore a speed stick.
Oh,
It was probably like
I
a
think it was
Saturday Night
there,
Live
yeah.
skit.
Because I watched that video way too many times, and I don't remember him saying that.
I'm a man. I'm 40. I have plenty of those things. But at the end of the day, you just have to find something that you like.
Yeah.
And I would have fun with you, not giving you pressure, but I would have fun trying to figure
find
out
it.
what your palate is.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that we tell people all the time is taste things blind, have an open mind. When you look at a label and you have something, and we did a blind tasting tonight, which is really fun, but when you look at labels, sometimes you can
Changes
look at
it.
it and say, oh, I'm supposed to like this because people say this is good.
Yeah.
And it's almost like your mind is tricking you, and that's why we always encourage people to drink blind and taste blind.
I love that.
Our friend Ryan came down and we did George T. Stagg, which is another one of the BTAC lineup. So it's along there with the William LaRue Weller. E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof and a Stagg Jr. And he came in thinking, I love EHT Barrel Proof. But he thought George T. Stagg was going to be the better one.
Yeah.
He told us beforehand, he's like, I really like the new EHT Barrel Proof. I want to put it up in this blind with you guys. And he picked, as we had the three on the table, he said, the one that tastes the best automatically in his brain has to be George T. Stagg.
Oh,
it was a
okay.
blind tasting, right?
But he just thought
But
he knew what it was.
he said in his head,
Yeah.
the one that tastes the best has to be George T. Stagg. And it was the EHT Barrel Proof to him.
Wrong.
Like but it's the way, it's a great lesson of bias.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at beers, like what do you gravitate towards when it comes to beer?
Well, it's funny. I had to ask you a question too in a minute, but we're both big IPA guys. I love IPA beers. I like the one that we had tonight. We'll talk about it more in a second, I think. But the thing I wanted to ask you, I guess, before I go any further into the beer stuff is beer is a very like can change your palate type of thing. And does whiskey do the same thing as like there are certain whiskey that you can have, and if you drink enough of it, you're going to learn to like it because that's what IPAs are. The first time I ever had an IPA,
Hated it.
I sat down with it and I was like, how does anyone in the world drink this? It tastes like bug spray.
It tasted like off. Like I
Yeah.
just sprayed my mouth with off.
It was crazy. And like,
Well, if you don't like those hops, then
Well,
Yeah.
But then after about like the 15th one, like, I mean, not in a row, but I mean, over months of time, all of a sudden I was like, man, I kind of want that taste. Like
Yeah.
and then once we started loving it, that's all we could do. Like we couldn't go back to Miller Lite. It tasted like absolute garbage.
yeah.
I
And
remember when we used to do case races of Old Milwaukee Ice,
Okay.
but that was just to kind of
Get drunk.
no, it was more of a manly test, right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
who can deal with the beast ice, like who can actually make it through.
Yeah.
Because beer is like that in general too, because I didn't even start liking beer until I turned 21, which I guess is a good time to start liking
Yeah.
it. But like when I was drinking in college and things like that, I hated beer. I was always drinking, like we were talking about earlier, like mixed drinks or whatever else I could get my hands on, but anything but beer is what I drank in college, right? Which, sorry, Mom, but I was drinking in college, just so you know. But anyways, when I turned 21, I got to this point where I just like, you're forced to like it because it's always around. You're constantly drinking. It's cheaper. So beer in general, I think, is everyone always says it's an acquired taste, right? And IPAs are the same way. Like you start liking beer first, then you start liking IPAs, which is now my favorite. I guess that's what my question was, is whiskey in general like that? Or is there a specific thing? So
your palate, and this isn't just for whiskey, this is for beer as well. Your palate is going to be determined by, what you eat in the morning. Mm-hmm. Are you sick? Did you have a coffee this morning? Did you have a different type of coffee this morning? Is your nose stuffy at all? Is there, because 80% of your taste comes from your nose. So that's why you always want to, when you're having a whiskey, you sit there and you nose the whiskey, or you don't nose beer as much, but your nose is still telling your mouth when you bring that cup up, hey, this is kind of what you should taste. It's kind of giving it a heads up saying, you should probably get this stuff in there. Whiskey is going to change daily, but it's also going to, you could go through phases where you're like, I really love 80 proof. Mm-hmm. Or say you're drinking a lot of Irish whiskey, or you're like, I love 80 to 90 proof. I like a low proof whiskey. And then all of a sudden you're kind of like, this low proof isn't doing it for me. So 6 months to a year later, you might be drinking 120 proof whiskey. Say maybe you're putting a drop of water in and you're proofing it down just a little bit, or you're opening it up.
Like with my makers, I always throw some water in there.
Yeah. It can actually unlock some different things that are in the whiskey. And it's more just your palate's going to change, but whatever you like, just drink it and find that, right? And then the trick is you got to find when your palate moves, what it's moving to. I think it's the inverse for us, where you guys would do that more with beer. We'd do that more with whiskey. Mm-hmm. And I'm much more in tune to my palate when it comes to whiskey. And then when it comes to beer, I'm like, yeah, I like stouts and IPAs. Like I'm good with any variation of those. Yeah. And I don't nitpick it as much, which is funny because I brought you all Southern Grist, their peach cobbler, which is a lactose sour.
So good.
And I'm normally not a sour beer guy, and that is one of my favorite beers.
You're going to give me more? I'm definitely drinking this.
Yeah, the first sip was awesome.
He's like, I'm going back to the Weller, so you can...
Yeah, you go right ahead, man, because it is the best sour I've ever had by far, but I don't know. I just can't do it.
I love it, man. Was the best thing that I've drank tonight.
I knew you would love it. Absolutely. No, this Weller is by far the best thing I've drank all night.
Yeah, I immediately downed that beer. It was so good. What'd you say it was called again? Grist?
It's Southern Grist.
Where's that out of?
So Nashville.
Oh, is it?
So
we should know that.
We should know that. Sorry.
Their biggest tap room is in the Nations. They also have a tap room in East Nashville, but they're making their own stuff in the Nations. They have some really, really good shit there. There's the Broca Nut. They have...
Oh, that sounds so good. That's one of my favorite flavors, too. I'm assuming it's
a coconut IPA.
Okay.
Their whole philosophy is creativity on tap. So they're trying different things all the time. So last week, I think they released a Fluffernutter. Like on Cinco de Mayo, they had a margarita kind of tasting beer. They're constantly doing different things and collaborations with other breweries that might come in from out of town.
Yeah.
They collaborated with LFG. They're doing all sorts of stuff as they go around to different beer fests, or when people come in, they say, "Hey man, come on down to the brewery. Let's do some stuff together." So they have hazy IPAs, fruit stouts, pastry stouts.
They're going to be my new favorite brewery for sure, because I love...
The New England IPA is my favorite style.
They have great NEPAs. They have Loud Whispers. I'm not sure if that's a New England IPA.
A NEPA? I've never heard it called that before.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
NEPA.
Oh, you haven't?
Yeah, act like you have. No, I love, like I said, this beer was awesome. They're probably going to, I'm looking them up immediately when I leave, and they're probably going to be my new favorite brewery. I'm going to try to...
Yeah, definitely.
You got to drive up to the Nations.
I'm coming.
And I'll go up with you guys whenever you want. We'll make a road trip up there. They're great guys up there. Kevin, Jamie, and Jared are killing it over at Southern Grist, and Fat Bottom is right around the corner. So
we did
when
go
you
there.
guys go up to the Nations, you can hit Southern Grist. Then
We're
go
good
over to
friends with Fat Bottom.
And then the best part is that Pennington Distillery is right next to Fat Bottom. So you can go get some really, really good Tennessee Sour Mash. Pennington just released a 4-year Tennessee Sour Mash that would probably...
My wife, if my wife listens to this, she's gonna hate you. You're basically just telling us to go get trashed.
No, you drink like a gentleman.
No, I don't. Nope.
If you look at the stuff that we've had on the table...
That's not how we drink.
If you look at the stuff we have on the table, I poured half-ounce pours for you when it came to the whiskey. So you guys
You did. We are being gentlemen tonight. I feel very astute. Is that the right word? Proper?
I don't know.
I mean, my pinky has been up this entire time with this glass. I mean, I love it.
So, Coach, I hear you're going camping.
I am going camping. Couple weeks.
Do you ever take any beer, coffee, whiskey, anything along with you?
Do I take beer? I have to take as much beer as I can. Beer is an essential when I go camping.
You definitely don't take whiskey.
Nope, not taking any whiskey.
I do.
Okay.
I do want to let you guys know about our friends over at High Camp Flask, and they have 2 flasks. One is a 750 milliliter Firelight flask, and then they have the 375 milliliter Half-Light flask. They have full-size 6-shooter tumblers secured to the flask through the patent-pending magnet locking system. And as you guys have been playing around with it, you can hear that thing open and close, right?
That's awesome. I love it.
I love the look of it, like an old school canteen kind of.
Well, it kind of looks like a bullet.
Yeah.
When you look, like it looks like a revolver with the way that the bottom of the magnetic cup as it goes there.
These things are sturdy too, man. You're not breaking this guy.
No, the thing I like about this too is a lot of people go traveling and say you're a bourbon hunter and you find something in a different state. Say you took a plane there. You're always worried about putting the glass bottle in your checked bag. Well, you can go ahead and stick it in the Half-Light flask or the Firelight flask. Go ahead and wrap that up in a Ziploc bag, put it in your checked baggage. You know nothing's going to leak.
Nothing. That thing's staying in there the whole trip.
Because it is a vacuum insulated bottle. It is a patent pending no drip lip. So you know you're going to have a clean pour every time. You know that all that stuff is going to stay in there. It's 24-hour temperature control, hot or cold. I just take this thing everywhere. It doesn't even matter if you're going camping. You could be going to the beach. You could be, even if you're going to the beach for the day, rather than have that big bulky cooler there, you can go ahead and stick some stuff in your High Camp Flask. Go take it to the beach with you. So go ahead and check them out. highcampflask.com, Instagram at highcampflask. And if you use code DDB, you're going to save 20% until Father's Day.
Ooh.
So DDB, 20% off until Father's Day. Go ahead and do that.
Good deal.
Yeah, maybe I'll let you borrow mine when you go camping.
I'd appreciate it. I love no drip lip. Those are my favorite kind of lips, especially on people.
Yeah. So should we talk about this blind?
Let's do the blind.
Yeah. So our friend, Denver Barkeep, he sent us a blind. Now we went through, we put our notes together just so you guys can confirm this envelope is sealed.
It is sealed.
Correctly.
It's sealed with a kiss too.
Yeah.
Not with a kiss. It is sealed, though.
It's sealed harder than Heidi Klum. Wasn't she the one that was married to seal?
Yes.
Hey, look at my pop culture reference right there.
So before I get into the actual results here,
Yeah, tell us how it works.
what was your favorite? There were 4 whiskeys. So what were your favorite?
Easily for me, number one. I think it partially was because it was the first thing I drank. Well, that's not true because I had a beer. I had 2 beers before I can't keep track of all my drinking.
Nobody cares what you think. You don't like whiskey.
That's true. I like number one the best though. I'm sorry.
I am interested what the guy who doesn't like whiskey likes, but
That's because that was my least favorite one.
Yeah, well, we're the yin and yang of podcasting. We've been
I
saying
liked.
that.
no, Zeke and I do not have similar palates. And the funny thing is, we know something is very, very good when we both say it's very, very good.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
There are other things that we will go yin and yang on, and I've actually used that term before as well. But there's funny things like we've had 4 Roses picks where I think it's really hot and he doesn't. And on the inverse, there's other ones where he thinks is really hot and I don't. So like our palates are completely opposite. But when we both sit there and have similarity, like we'll get the same notes, but it's just I gravitate towards. So if he had that and both of us had the Weller.
Well, this is uncomfortable. Sorry to cut you off, but this is kind of uncomfortable for Jeff and I because with beer, we are very synced up. We rate every beer that we drink. Each week we do a drink of the week, obviously. Like you guys do tons of drinks of the week, I'm sure. But that's one of our segments. And we score beers on a scale of 1 to 10 and we use like a point.
Yeah.
Like we'll do like 9.2 or whatever. Like
that's too technical for us.
No, it's very easy
Not too technical because I think it's messed up because whiskey and bourbon is just, there's so many more levels to it than beer.
Do you know how we rate it at the end of the day?
I don't.
We go buy, bar, bottle share, or pass.
Ooh, I like that. But
So
that makes it really easy, though.
What does
too.
bar mean?
So
Like,
bar
you'll get it
is
at the
go,
bar.
go
Just go to the bar and get a glass.
don't get a bottle of it, but go to the bar, try it if you like it. But we also realize our palates are our palates. So
Yeah.
we could tell you what we get, but that really doesn't mean anything. So you should go try it and see if you like
Yeah.
it. Bottle share is 3 of us, say there's a bottle, it's $200. We could all go in and say, hey, we're going to do $67 a piece and we're going to buy this bottle.
Yeah.
And then we'll split it 3 ways. It's not one I would spend $200 on, but I'd spend $67 to get a third of the bottle.
So the bottle share, you're saying that whiskey's better than the bar. Like I'm gonna go to the bar and get a glass.
Yeah, it's enough that I would want more than one glass, but it's not one where I would go in full price on it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I like that system. It's similar to ours. It's easier because there's less like of a commitment
Numbers.
to numbers are hard.
No, we tell people exactly how good it is, and that's how they should think.
We tell, it's true. We do.
It's a 7.8. Stay away from it.
The Russian judge. You got to watch out for the Russian judge.
It's funny you mentioned Fat Bottom earlier, and you can cut this out if you want to.
No,
but
I don't.
Fat Bottom, we went to their brewery and we drank some of their beer, and it was such an amazing experience. But a couple of weeks after that, we were drinking a Fat Bottom beer, and just kind of to show you how much we don't care like about what we say about the score. We had just met the guy that makes all the beer there, and Jeff scored one of the beers that we drank on our show a 2. So like we keep
It was a sour. I was like, oh, this thing's awful.
Well, no,
get it out of here.
It's funny because I think people appreciate that honesty. I mean,
Yeah.
we've been sitting there with distilleries that come on and they'll bring different things that they have, and we're not huge on the wine finish.
Yeah.
So there are some wine finishes that we're not like, I don't love this. And distillery brought something for us once, and it was a Cabernet finish, and I was just like, yeah, we could talk about this. And it was while we were recording, it was, yeah, we could talk about this with you, but we don't like wine finishes. So I'm sure there's plenty of people that might dig it, but it's just not going to be us.
Yeah.
That honesty is going to be, they're going to appreciate that more than, but there's a way you can do it. And it's kind of Zeke and I's philosophy. There's a way that you can rate things and say that it's not your favorite, but describe it in a way that somebody else might actually like it.
Yeah.
So it's something about realizing that, hey, you hated most of the stuff that I poured for you tonight. That's okay. I liked some of it. Jeff liked some of it, but that doesn't mean either one of us is wrong. So it's, hey, it's not my jam, but how do I describe it to you so that you know if you are going to like it?
I did want to mention one other thing that you said. The blind taste testing is also a very new thing for me, especially because when we do beers, I actually invest in what it looks like too. And that'll go into my score. I'll say, if this label is not cool to me, or if like it doesn't jump out to me like on the eye, like, or the way that it feels in my hand even, like, I don't know. It might sound dumb, but like if I'm comfortable with it and I think it looks cool, I'm giving it more of a score. And then I'm adding, the taste is most of it, right? Because that's what's important. But I also do reward people that make cool labels. And that might be wrong, but I don't care.
So
It's my show. I do whatever I want.
Well, no, Zeke gives me more shit because I will give a nod to the marketing, but I just want to make it seem.
Yeah,
when
like
I
I give him
him
shit.
Yeah, tell me you gave a shit.
Zeke, where you at, man?
No, but
Because I'm like, how can you give an extra point because you like the can?
no, what I'm saying, when I say the marketing, I'm saying that if you're spending $100 or higher, $100 is a very big threshold for me when it comes to whiskey.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're spending $100 or higher, but you put it in a shitty bottle,
Yeah.
and your label looks like you went down to Kinko's and made it, and
Yeah, gotcha.
it's like you're paying for an experience. Beer, there are some beers that are more expensive, right? There are some beers that might be $10 a can or even higher. When you get to that point, I would think that you would do something above and beyond.
Yeah, you
And
should.
just show that you've invested in your product, the way that you're presenting it, the way that you're releasing it out to everyone. Like, it shouldn't look like a Bud Light can.
Agreed.
Tell me that.
Agreed.
See, we got into a fight about this because the KBS is what we've been drinking lately. It's an expensive. I mean, it's $23 for a 4-pack. You know, you're spending a lot of money, and he doesn't like the label. Like, I love the bottle. I love it. It looks like it reminds me of like the Old West.
No, I have no problem with the KBS label.
Okay. Well, look who's on my side now.
I'll fight both of you right now. I'll flip
What's
this table
wrong
up.
with-
Actually, I'm gonna sit in the
boring.
corner and let him just.
It was boring.
Stomp
like,
you.
Really, like it just looked like it was. First of all, the color scheme
But
is
let
bland.
me tell you.
Oh, it is a great. Yeah, it's like an old parchment paper that's been burned.
This is coming from the guy who
I like-
loves Alabama's jerseys. By the way, he thinks that Alabama and Penn State have the best jerseys.
Is it recognizable when you see a KBS
No.
bottle? do
Okay,
you
I
know-
don't think so.
Oregon. Get out of here.
Yeah, Oregon, like they stand out and they make. All right, so we're getting off topic on sports, but Oregon and like, I don't know, like
What? Leave Nike you out of this.
Okay,
because
sorry.
Let's
Go Nittany Lions.
Their uniforms never stay the same week to week. Because
Right, that's what I
Nike's
love.
testing everything out.
Roll Tide.
But tell me, when you see a KBS bottle, it doesn't look like other stuff that's out there.
I agree with that. It doesn't look like it because it's so boring. Like
It's
it looks
not.
boring to me.
Out of here.
Like I don't know. It doesn't. If I'm walking down the beer aisle and
You don't appreciate subtlety.
I don't. I
your
really don't.
problem.
I need something to jump out to me. My favorite beer is Sweetwater IPA. It's in a yellow can. Like it stands out. It's got a fish on the side. There's this
I know,
dude
but-
like reeling it in. Like the can is amazing. Like, and that's one of the reasons why I like it so much.
I prefer the bottle.
Well, the same thing with the bottle though. It's no, but you make it. I mean, even in the bottle, it's a yellow like label and everything. So I like stuff that jumps out at me. I'm flashy. I'm a flashy guy. What do you want from me?
You don't like when I scare you, though.
No, I don't like that. When you show up at my house with a Jason mask and just stare at
It's
me.
Michael Myers.
Whatever.
I love that. I think it's there.
Don't give me your apartment number.
Founders.
No, I'm going to get you.
Founders has done. I mean, think about some of the other stuff with the C's that they've done, other than the KBF,
The CBS.
Yeah. The CBS is a great looking bottle with a Mountie on it.
Yeah.
It's got huge. It's
Oh, don't get me wrong. Anything from Michigan, I'm still going to support it and I'm still going to love it because I'm from Michigan. So I still love Founders no matter what. So like I'm going to still love it. And
Yeah. Let's get to the test.
whatever, man. So anyways, Michigan beers, I'll always still drink them no matter what. So whatever. I just don't like the label. I'm sorry. I'm not. And like I said, I keep it honest all the time. I don't care if my mom made that label.
you're
I'm
gonna
gonna
keep
tell
it
her
100.
I always, man. I keeps it real. No, if my mom made that label, I would say, Mom, this label is buns. Like you need to change this. Like make it more flashy, Mom.
Chips, even?
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah,
Boy, Mom, we're sorry.
Poor mom.
Mama Pete.
I love my
All right,
mom.
so number one.
I probably like number 2 the best.
Oh yeah, we didn't hear
Oh,
what you
really?
like the best.
Okay.
I probably like number 2 the best. One was almost
What were you?
too malty for me. And I'm not going to go through the notes. We'll go through the notes once we know what they are.
Yeah,
But I have
so-
this envelope.
I didn't say what I liked the best.
Oh, what do you like the best?
I didn't. You guys
just
just
said
I'm
you
asking
like
you
number
right
one
now.
the worst.
What
Yeah,
did you like
I said
the
what
best?
I like the worst. You just want to roll right over me.
What
like-
did you like the best?
Like you always do.
Stop being so damn sensitive, man. Just tell us what you like.
Oh, now I'm sensitive. do you want to get into this right now?
Come on, let's go.
All right, no, we're on somebody else's podcast right now, so We're going to handle this in the Taco Bell drive-thru. You just need to chill out.
I probably went 2-4-3-1.
Okay.
If I was going for what are my favorites.
See, that's funny. I went 3-2-4-1. I like number 3 the best. I thought it was like floral.
Oh, we're going to go through the notes in a second because we got to find out what it is.
Is that what
first.
you said? Is that what you
No.
said? Oh.
I mean,
perfumey almost to me, but I liked it.
That's fine.
Okay. I did good.
You did good. You did very good.
He just patted me on the head.
From our friend Tyler, who is otherwise known as Denver Barkeep
Okay.
on Instagram.
Bark.
This all makes a lot more sense now.
Okay.
It's a Colorado theme because Tyler's from Colorado.
Gotcha.
So the first one was Peach Street SYR Bourbon. It's 92 proof.
Okay.
The second one is AD Laws Straight Rye Bottled in Bond. It's 100 proof. It won the World Whiskies Award for Best Rye in 2017.
I cannot wait to tell you what I have on my
I
notes.
like number 2. It got second. Let me hear about 3.
Number 3 is 291 Colorado Rye Whiskey Aspen Stave Finished. It was the 2018 World Whiskies Award Best Rye.
That's a good whiskey,
It is
right?
101.7 proof. The fourth is Stranahan Snowflake Mount Evans. It is the 2015 Stranahan Snowflake. What I will tell you guys about Stranahan Snowflake is it's a limited edition bottle. There's only 2,000 bottles that are released every year.
Okay, so number 4 was the one that we all should have said was the best.
No, it's number 4 was my second best.
Okay.
It doesn't mean just because it's highly allocated
Yeah.
or a limited edition
Does
does
it's the
not
best.
mean it's the best.
We are
That's why
learning
we-
so much here.
That's why we do things blind. That's why we taste things blind. It's a limited edition. I will just tell you that it's one of those ones where you could sit there and say, wow, I had something that there were only 2,000 bottles of. Not everybody can say that they had that. That is a huge benefit and a huge upside to be able to do our podcast. But I prefer... I've had a lot of Stranahan Snowflakes. I was a big fan of the 2017. It actually had some tequila. So the cool thing about Stranahan Snowflake, what they do is there's different finishes. They marry it all together. It's a blend. They might finish some in a rum barrel, some in a tequila barrel. So I liked that it was finished in a tequila barrel because it got some of that lime and agave note to it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a tequila. It's not like you're drinking a tequila, but you get a little bit of that flavoring in the whiskey from it going in and out of the wood. So if you think about it, it's like, say you take a beer and you take that beer and then you finish it in a bourbon barrel. You're going to get some of those notes, but depending on the type of beer that you have, it's going to be different notes for an IPA finished in a bourbon barrel versus a stout that's finished in a bourbon barrel.
I feel like, first of all, thanks, Tyler, for sending this in. You seem like a great guy.
Different notes for different folks.
And secondly, I feel bad that I was the one that was participating in this because I'm not a big fan of some of the stuff that I drank tonight. So I want to lead with thank you to Tyler. But I also think that it's great to have me on the show because I don't enjoy it. So I'm going to give some feedback that maybe people that don't love bourbon that are listening might like it.
We don't want to hear it.
I'm gonna do it, though.
We've already been talking.
No, we're out of time. Let's go.
We've already been talking for 50 minutes, so we kind of got to go through this pretty
All right,
quick.
let's do it.
So I'll start off with number 1. The nose for me, it was malt with some dark fruit. The taste, it was fruity. It tastes a little young, so I get that citrus. I think a young whiskey almost has a citrus aspect to it. So it was probably 2 years or less. I have to look this up and see how old Peach Street is. But I said I don't feel like it's a high proof, but it's hot, which is true because it was 92 proof. Finish, I said it was oaky and dry. So I didn't love that aspect of it. What do you get over there, Jeff?
For number 1, which was Peach Street, you said?
Yep.
I said for the nose, caramely. And I said boozy. Like it kind of burned me. I thought it was boozy.
it's
Like
astringent.
I was expecting like 120 proof. Like And then sip, tastes like Jack. And finish, I am 99% sure this is Jack Daniels.
It was not. So again, this is why it's great that I'm here, because I said almost the exact opposite as everything you guys said. For my nose, this is really weird, but I actually had to Google this. You guys were wondering what I was doing, but it smelled like the first alcohol I've ever drank, which was a brandy called Paul Masson. Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah.
And it's a really like super cheap brandy, but it was like the first, for some reason I got like, that hit me. I don't know why, but for my sip, I said not overwhelmingly hot, and it was bearable. And it was, for me, actually really smooth. And it was one of the only drinks that I had that I didn't like immediately reach for my water and say, I need to chase this down real quick.
So you probably don't like the rye tingle of 2 and 3. You know, that the rye is going to tingle your mouth in the front.
Yeah.
More so than that bourbon would. It's going to hit different areas of your mouth. So that makes sense. And I tell you that thinking about what stuff that you're going to gravitate towards.
Yeah.
You probably would just skip ryes.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be a rye.
I think I like ryes, judging by these results.
I'm willing to bet there's a rye I could get you to like.
Okay.
But there's a lot of ryes you could probably skip.
Okay. Cool.
So number 2, I said this was malt with a lighter fruit on the nose. It's heavy malt on the taste and fruit, but it was a light fruit. So I had a feeling, knowing Tyler, that he was going to send us a lot of Colorado stuff. I've had this Laws Rye before. I really did enjoy it. I had a feeling he was probably going to send something like this our way. It almost could have been finished in something. It was just super light, and it didn't tingle me like a rye would. It was one of those ones where it's one of those ones where it felt like a summer pour. Felt like something you could drink in summer that was really good.
See, and you kept saying light.
Yeah.
Light. And my nose, I said this one's deeper. Like it just woodsy. Like I could smell. I didn't smell any fruit in it. I didn't taste any.
And I think it's because the first one, it was more of like a dark cherry to me. It was, so when I said it was darker fruit, it would be like plums, cherries, things like that.
And for this one, did you get a long finish?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This one stuck with me definitely.
I said it lingers, but I didn't feel like it was. I can understand where you said it was more of a thicker pour because it's 100 proof opposed to 92 proof. But the notes were light. Like it was light and airy in the sense that it wasn't a low proof, but it was very fruity, not in a dark fruit way, but if you think just things that you would have that are not as heavy of a fruit, but you could tell the proof was up.
Like, are you having fun right now? Like, I want to get into this.
I'm having fun because I'm so off base. Like, it seems like you guys are vibing taste-wise, and I'm just like,
no, it's
here
just
I am
like,
over here doing the thing that no one knows
I want to learn
what I'm talking about.
Like, I can feel like I'm clearly not as good as John is. I want to be. Like, I want to learn how to taste this stuff. You know?
And I'm not that good. If you talk to Zeke's going to say I have a broken palate, and I'm going to say he has a broken palate.
Yeah.
But and that's one of the fun things that we could do is just give each other a bunch of shit. Nobody's wrong, and it's one of my favorite things to do is to take people that don't drink.
You say nobody's wrong, and then you're going to hear what I'm about to say about
this.
No,
you're not wrong because you're not wrong because that's what you got. I can't say this enough.
Did you? I feel like you never said the taste for yours. Did I miss that?
I said the taste.
Okay, I'm sorry. I missed it. Anyways, my nose was, I said, I did not like this at all. When
I don't like green eggs and ham.
I could have left it at that, but I said.
It smells like green eggs and ham.
I got a like darker. I think you guys might have said that, but I got like a darker and
deeper. I said deeper.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me. But I said almost like a cocoa smell. Is that crazy?
No.
So I wrote that down.
How you know my
I'm not going to tell you.
Shout out to Coco. That's what we call his wife. For my taste, I said that I immediately knew I was not taking another sip. And for my finish, I said I did not let it finish. I grabbed my water quickly and took a sip. So
those are great notes.
Thanks.
I don't know why you're.
I don't know, man. Like it just feels like
you might not like it.
Like Tyler's gonna be like, this asshole just drank all this awesome bourbon, and he's
Listen,
in there
No,
trashing
but
it.
See, I'm trying to. Yeah.
You sit here and you regurgitate your Gordon Vickers, and you think you're so smart because you go to Harvard. Like,
Oh my God.
that's
So great.
it's okay.
All right.
It's whatever you get.
Okay.
Is okay. I will tell you this number 3. Zeke and I have had this before. 291 is a distillery that we really enjoy out of Colorado. We've had their stuff. We've talked about their stuff, and it's been very surprising to us. This is a rye whiskey, Aspen Stave finished. It's 101.7 proof. For me, I just said this one tasted like a lot of malt. I didn't go very, very deep because, as I could tell, a lot of the Colorado whiskeys have a lot of similarities. So they're very malt heavy. They're an American malt. 291 is malt heavy. Laws is not as malt heavy, but I taste the malt in that rye. Stranahan's is a straight American malt. The difference for you, Coach, in those as an American malt is going to have aspects of Scotch without the peat.
That's crazy that you just said that because, and I'll jump on this right quick just because you just said that. But I told you earlier that Scotch tastes like tape to me.
That's not your jam.
I literally wrote down it smells and tastes like plastic to me. Like everything in there, it tasted like that.
So the peat, and this will probably change your feeling on a Scotch, but the peat to me in a Scotch tastes like Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Depending on when. Now I like,
And I eat a
some
lot
of
of
the
Band-Aids too, so I know exactly what they taste like. I'm
Well, with
big into
kids-
Band-Aid eating.
with kids, you never know when you're going to eat a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
It has that Band-Aid.
I called
taste.
TLC to get him on the My Strange Addiction show.
Yeah, I'm big into that.
This guy eats Band-Aids like
Can you believe the people
would
that
not
eat
know.
hair?
No, one girl ate. I got a clip on my Instagram, my personal.
That one
Instagram.
chick that ate the mattress? How
No,
about
she
her?
straight up said like that's what she ate, but she was like, "I used to sleep on my bed, but now I sleep on the couch because I ate my bed."
Yes. I don't have a bed because I ate it.
The other thing that kills me are the shows where they didn't know they were pregnant.
Oh yeah,
And then all of a sudden,
Oh,
like,
because they're 800 pounds.
no, there are some people that aren't 800 pounds and they still didn't know they were pregnant. Like, how do you?
yeah, it's crazy.
And I know that it's 3 guys sitting around a table. It's hard for us to have this conversation, but like, how do you not know you were pregnant? Like, when the baby started, I remember watching my wife's tummy when the baby was kicking. Like, when a baby is kicking your stomach, how do you not know that there's a friggin' baby in there kicking your stomach?
It's a lazy
Well,
ass
like Dwight
baby.
Schrute said, like it's a myth that you need to gain more than 7 pounds during pregnancy.
It's true.
You remember that from The Office?
Yes.
So what do you get on number 3,
Number 3 was my favorite.
which is the 291?
You know, like it was floral again, like, and it was short. I like that. I don't like the lingering flavor, perfume.
Linger. Sorry, I'm just quoting movies all night.
Excuse me.
Pineapple Express, dude. You don't remember that?
Oh yeah, the linger. I don't like this guy, man. Every time he comes,
The guy
over,
came in to sell him weed, and he was there
Drug
for
dealer.
2 seconds, and he shuts the door, and he was like, "Gosh, this guy right
This
here,
guy.
lingering." Sorry.
So last but not least, number 4, the Stranahan Snowflake. This is the Mount Evans, the 2015. It's 94 proof. It is going to be a blended malt. So it is a blend of whiskeys that were finished in different barrels. I don't know off the top of my head all the ones that Mount Evans had, but I will tell you that Stranahan's goes pretty deep into making sure that all different aspects were mingled together properly. I will tell you, I wish I still had more of this on the table. I know we drank through the 4 and then we combined some and, we were seeing how they all tasted together, but I wish I still had this one knowing now that it was the Stranahan Snowflake. I had this as number 2 for me, but I would love to dive in and try to dissect the different things I get a little bit better, knowing that it was a snowflake and knowing how the distillers over there actually try to marry their whiskeys together. So it was a little bit of a lost opportunity for me on that one, but I really liked it. And it was malty, it was fruity. There were different things coming through. I like this one a lot, but it's a missed opportunity, a swing and a miss for me on that one.
Hey,
Damn.
you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, though.
Wayne Gretzky said
You
that.
didn't like number 4?
It's funny because I actually had this, I guess if you're going to rank them, because I never did my rankings, but number 4 was number 2 for me.
Okay.
So I didn't mind this one.
Yeah.
I thought I'm going to jump ahead of you right quick.
No, it's okay. We can go counterclockwise.
So I thought that I got a cherry smell from it. I don't know if anyone else wrote down anything related to that. I don't really care either, though, because that's what I smelled. And
Good. You're learning.
The taste was a little fruitier than all the other ones, but the aftertaste, like the finish, as some people would call it, was very harsh to me. I didn't like the finish, but in my mouth, it was okay.
I just wrote it was really smooth, and I really liked it.
Okay.
That was it.
All right. Kind of like you, man. You're really smooth, and I really like you.
Bum, bum, boom, boom.
So this Stranahan's only had 1,600 bottles. It's finished in 4 casks of 2 different wine styles. A 4-year Stranahan's barrel was added to the in-house marriage of the Madeira and the Doublewood Port. Additionally, there was a 2-use cask from Balistreri Winery in Denver, which started out as an original Stranahan's cask prior to being filled with Balistreri's port wine and aging 2 years. The Snowflake was finally finished in a used 4-year-old barrel of original Stranahan's. So port and Madeira.
Okay.
A lot of wine finish on this one. The other Snowflakes.
You have to talk into the microphone.
Oh, he's
Oh, we're still recording?
yeah.
Yeah.
Long story short, we went through the blind.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
That was fun, man.
That was a lot of fun.
Really enjoyed
Yeah.
that.
You get to do that often?
Every week.
You lucky son of a bitch.
Excuse me.
Wait, can I say that word?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Cool.
We'll have to do this again.
Yeah.
And we'll have to make sure Zeke is there.
Okay.
One time
I can't
too.
wait to get well soon, Zeke. We're all pulling for you.
But before we go, tell the folks where they can find you.
Oh, man. We're in,
We're in Franklin. That's where you can find us.
Our podcast is called Bring Dad a Beer, as we mentioned before. We do have a blog as well. We don't really talk about our blog as much because we don't put as much work into
You're
it.
gonna stop. I'm telling you right
It's
now.
fun, though,
Nostradamus. We started off as a blog.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get Zeke to write shit.
Yeah.
And then it turned into let's just do videos, and then it turned into the podcast.
I actually enjoy it. I was in journalism.
writing.
Yeah, I like writing. So I don't mind if no one reads it. It's not
As your podcast grows,
Yeah.
you're gonna have less and less time to do the blog.
I still find, like, even if I'm super busy, I still find times where I just want to shoot off like some thoughts that I have that I'm not going to talk about on the pod. But you might be right. I hope
just-
you're not, because I enjoy doing it.
I hope I'm not too, but I'm just predicting.
That's fine. But our blog is the main page of our website, but we do have a website, bringdadabeer.com. Our podcast can be found anywhere
That
that you...
food looks amazing on the TV.
It really
right
does. That guy does not, though.
Y'all, are we going swimming after this?
now. Yeah.
Jesus. I'm trying to promote our stuff real quick.
So bringdadabeer.com. The blog is going to be the landing page, but you
Yes.
can also get to the podcast there.
There's a podcast page, there's a shop. We just launched our merch literally yesterday, and we just told people on our podcast today. So if anyone wants merch. And then our biggest thing right now that we're pushing to everybody is a thing called Flick Chat, and it's brand new. It's still in beta stages, but we're on it. We're one of the first podcasts on it. It's a chat that is private just for people that are a fan of us or people that want to interact with us instantly. I know there's other ways that you can do that on other social media, but I'm really a fan of this app. If anyone's listening to this and they want to try something new, that's what it's going to be. Flick's going to be the new thing, man. I'm excited to be a part
in your
of it.
Flick chat.
Yeah. What
I
do you think of
commented
it
today.
What do you think of it?
I think it's interesting that there are all the different categories.
Yeah.
I think it might be administratively burdensome when you think about the time. So as you guys continue to go down this route, I think you're going to find you're going to get pulled in a lot of different directions, and your time is going to be very important. So I know for me, a lot of time is spent. I'm setting up interviews. I'm reaching out to distilleries. We're trying to do barrel picks. I'm editing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different ways I'm going on top of the day job and the family, which is the first priority. So there are certain things that might go down by the wayside. You're like, man, I have to make all these different categories.
Yeah.
And then you might just get to a point where you're like, listen, here's our Facebook page. It's a private page. You could say whatever you want, answer a couple questions, get in.
Yeah.
And then everybody's all happy.
Well,
you never know.
We're small enough right now that
You're bigger than you give yourself credit for.
Well, no, I personally like what we're trying to do right now is like try to interact with our fans. And this is one of the easiest and best ways we can do it instantly. And we're going to try it out. Like you said, if we get huge, then I'm still going to do Flick Chat and it might be my intern that's running it for me. So I don't know.
I wish we were big enough to have an intern.
You might be surprised. You might be already.
So you're on everybody's favorite podcast provider, though. Apple.
Everything, man.
Google
I'm on
Play, Stitcher.
We're on podcast apps that I didn't even know existed. Like there, if you have a podcast app that you like listening to it on, I'm on there because we're on Google Play, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, whatever you're looking for, we're going to be there. We do an episode every Monday. Lately, we've been doing a bonus episode once a week, and it's really short. Usually our show is like an hour long. And the bonus episode might be 20 minutes, and we talk about one topic because on our show, we talk about a million different things, right? We've been doing bonus episodes, and that's been really fun, and we'll probably continue to do that and just see where this thing goes, man. We love it. It's been fun.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both for joining. It has been a pleasure, and I hope it's something we do more often.
Please. This was amazing. Thanks for having us.
I had a lot of fun. Thank you.
And I know it was last minute, so thank you for coming
problem.
down. You can find Zeke and I on Instagram at Dad's Drinking Bourbon, Twitter at Bourbon Dads, Facebook at Dad's Drinking Bourbon. As mentioned, find our Facebook group, answer a couple questions. We'll let you in. Please find us on your favorite podcast app and leave us an open and honest review, just like we leave an open and honest review about the whiskey that we are drinking. You can also find us here in Nashville, Tennessee. We have an open door. Anybody who's in town, let us know when you're here. We'd love to sit down and share some pours with you. Cheers.
Cheers.